You want this, I'll give you that. But it's counterfeit. It's not real.
You are live on the air. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Michael, I'm glad to be here again.
Welcome,
Shalom, Rabbi. I'm the only Jew in my town, so I'm surrounded by Baptists and what have you. And my mom's pastor and her came to me and said that the reason Jesus was tempted in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights is because he mirrors everything from Adam and the progression of man struggle through the centuries. And I don't know how to answer that.
What are you asking? Just very clear. What are you asking?
Saying is Jesus was tempted because he's mirroring the struggles of man's temptation and the Jews being in the desert for 40 years, and that they were being tempted throughout the entire time.
You know, I've heard Christians talk about this, and I sometimes go, I don't get it. First of all, the Christian Bible explicitly says that God cannot be tempted. James chapter 1, verse 13. So I don't know what they're talking about. Now, it is true that in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15, it says there that, for we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weakness, but one who has been tempted in all things as we are, yet he came out without sin. Okay? So the New Testament itself clashes on this. Hebrews is systematically seeking to show that Jesus is a high priest, not in the order of the Levitical order, but Melchizedek. Makes no sense at all. But if you're saying that God was tempted, like what? James had the brains to say that God cannot be tempted. Do you really think that, like, Jesus saw I'm not trying, but I'm trying to, like, Jesus saw, like, a gay bar and thought he would go in. The Roman Empire had a big issue of homosexual promiscuity. We know that. We know that from huge sources. So they had bathhouses where naked men went and everything went down. Okay? Tacitus, the most important historian of the Roman Empire, in his not well-known book called Germania, laments about how homosexuality was rampant in the empire among the elites, and lamented that, in fact, the Germanic tribes that would eventually take down the empire, they were hardworking men who were heterosexual. So now, no matter what your view is or who you voted for, it's clear that the Torah forbids that kind of a relationship, right? So you're saying that Jesus was really tempted to go into a bathhouse with naked men were there and all kinds of homosexual relationships are going on there? Really? You don't believe that? You don't believe that. It doesn't even make sense. If Jesus is God, how is he righteous? Like, really? Like, God just needed to eat something? It doesn't make sense. What is very attractive to the part of us that loves Jesus, because Jesus is who you will never be. This is where the scam comes in. Why does this work then? Because people are not looking at James 1:13. They're not looking at Hebrews 4:15. That's where that comes from. People feel broken, worthless, dirty, and sinful, and feel like, I'll never make it. I'll never be able to stand in front of God. He's up there. I'm down here. This is so Gnostic. This is so Marcionite. The whole deal is God cannot be tempted. It doesn't make sense. What was he tempted? Like what? Now, why does Hebrews say that? Because Hebrews is an early book. It's written, the book of Hebrews is written about the year 64. That means it's older than the Gospels. So the Christology was not highly developed yet. You didn't have the prologue of John yet, you know? So that's why you find these things in the book of Hebrews. What do you mean God was tempted? What does that mean? That's why Jesus' temptation in the wilderness is found in the Synoptic Gospels, but where won't you find it? I'm testing you. Think about it, guys. You, my beautiful viewers. If what I'm saying makes sense of the Jesus' temptation in the wilderness is point to a relic of an older, lower Christology, where would you expect to find it? Where would it be absent from? Use your brains. You've been studying with me for a while now, no? You would say, wait, I don't have to look that up. I should find the temptation in the wilderness in the Synoptic Gospels, earlier texts, or Hebrews, which even predates Mark, and I probably will not find it in the book of John, where we have our highest Christology. You see how it all works? This is a mess. But the idea is, what sells Christianity? Why do people believe in this? Because people feel dirty, sinful, worthless, hopeless, and Jesus is somebody you will never be. And he'll save you from hell, which you are pretty sure you're going to. And people are terrified of dying. People are terrified of dying. You know, people are so frightened of death because, like, we're the only creature that knows we're going to die. Almost no animal in the world besides us know that death is waiting for us, right? This is so traumatic that psychologists say that a person cannot even contemplate his own death for more than a few seconds. It's too traumatic. People can contemplate and plan their wills, plan all sorts of things, but can't think about their actual death for more than a few seconds. For most people, it's just they have to stop and change. Why? It's too much. And therefore, I need to know that I've got a ticket to heaven. And Jesus is like a really good guy, and he was tempted too, but he did what I could never do. He resisted all temptations. And if I put my trust in, that's where it comes from. It's sweet Jesus, but it's a false ticket. It means you've got something that says you got a ticket to go to heaven, but you know what happens when you come after 120 and you show it, is I got my ticket. It's a false ticket. It's a counterfeit. How horrible would you feel if you had someone gave you a ticket to a great concert or show, you had front row seats, and then you're waiting in line and you get there and then they look at the barcode, they say this is a counterfeit. That's what Christianity is. So that's what we're saying. Christianity is promising everything. Whatever you want this, I'll give you that. But it's counterfeit. It's not real. Trust only in the God of Israel. Nothing remotely resembling any of this in Tanakh. You could do it. Hashem says, turn back to me. I will forgive you. Hashem is completely accessible. Stay away from filthy, dualistic religions. Thank you for your question.
Adon olam asher malach בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו אם לא